In the heart of the tumultuous Third Battle of Blackfire Pass, amidst the clash of steel and the roar of battle, Emperor Karl Franz stood tall, his voice ringing out like a clarion call above the chaos. "If we die, we will die wielding our swords, for there is no better death for a warrior," he declared, his words a rallying cry that stirred the hearts of his troops. "We will sit at Sigmar's banquet like the heroes of old, and our names will be remembered in the songs of our people till the end of time." Emperor Karl Franz I, Holzwig-Schlestein, bearer of many titles including Protector of the Empire, Defier of the Dark, and Sigmar's heir, was more than just a ruler. He was the embodiment of the empire of man's resilience and strength in the face of adversity. Born into the house of Holzwig-Schlestein, Carl Franz ascended to the imperial throne following in his father's footsteps. From the moment of his coronation in 2502 IC, he proved himself not only as a skilled statesman, but also a fearless general on the battlefield. Under his reign, the empire flourished like never before. Carl Franz's patronage of the arts and sciences elevated the empire's cultural landscape, while his military innovations and strategic brilliance secured countless victories against its enemies. But Karl Franz was not content to rule from the safety of his throne in Altdorf. He frequently took tours of the battlefield, leading his troops with courage and valor, with the legendary Galmaraz, a warhammer gifted to Sigmar by the dwarf High King over 2 millennia ago, or his rune-fang sword. He carved a path of glory alongside his loyal griffin mount, Deathclaw, and his trusted comrade, Reichsmarschall Kurt Hellborg. Through his leadership, Karl Franz inspired not just fear in his enemies, but an unwavering loyalty and devotion from his subjects. His legacy would endure through the annals of history, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the empire of man under his rule. "Will you not die for your empire? Will you not fight for your families?" Emperor Karl Franz's voice echoed across the battlefield, his voice clear to all of his soldiers. "Sally forth then into the jaws of death and cry havoc this day, that you may live within the annals of history." Born into peril among the savage wilderness, Karl Franz's early years were marked by chaos and danger. In a fateful encounter with beastmen in the Reichwald forest, he and his father, Emperor Leopold I, faced imminent doom until they were miraculously saved by the intervention of enigmatic wood elves. Yet tragedy struck when Emperor Leopold I passed away, leaving his son to inherit the mantle of leadership. Elected as Emperor Karl Franz I in a close vote by the elector counts, the burden of rulership fell heavily upon his shoulders. Determined to prove himself worthy of his people's trust, Karl Franz embarked on a relentless campaign to purge the empire's wilds of the growing threat of chaos. With the spectre of impending war looming on the horizon, his resolve to safeguard his realm only grew stronger. The coastal provinces of Nordland bore the brunt of Norse raids, as the forces of chaos grew bolder with each incursion. In response, Emperor Karl Franz rallied a mighty Imperial army, marching north to bolster the defences along Elector Count Theoderic Gausser. As the Norse raiders descended upon Nordland's shores once more, they were met with a hail of bullets and crossbow bolts, unleashed by Karl Franz's disciplined troops. The clash was fierce, the roar of cannons mingling with the cries of battle, as Imperial forces fought with unwavering resolve. Leading from the front, Emperor Karl Franz charged into the fray, his rune-fang gleaming in the sunlight as he faced the last remnants of the Norse onslaught. With courage and determination, he led his soldiers to victory, driving back the invaders and securing the safety of his people. In the wake of battle, Karl Franz's reputation as a stalwart defender of the empire soared. His leadership had turned the tide of the war, and his name would be remembered among the heroes of old, immortalized in the songs of his people for generations to come. Since his accession to the throne, Karl Franz's reign was marked by a relentless pursuit of victory, each conquest adding another laurel to his already illustrious legacy. With the legendary Galmaraz in hand and Deathclaw, his faithful griffin companion, by his side, he led his troops with unwavering resolve. At the Battle of Norduin, Karl Franz's strategic brilliance shone as he personally led the decisive charge of the Reiksguard Knights, turning the tide against the Knights of Bretonnia. On the field of blood, it was his valour that steadied the Imperial line against the ferocious onslaught of Warg Slendripper, ensuring victory in the face of overwhelming odds. In the war against the eastern hordes of Mordecai Heg, the Savage, Karl Franz's leadership was unmatched. With his greatsword regiment, he carved a path through the enemy ranks, delivering a crushing blow to the Chaos Champion with a single swing of his mighty warhammer. Renowned as one of the greatest generals of his time, Karl Franz bore the weight of his responsibility with solemn determination. He stood as a bulwark against those who sought to tear the Empire apart, his every action driven by unwavering loyalty to his homeland and its people. Mounted upon Deathclaw, the noble griffin he had raised from an egg, Karl Franz rode into battle with the same courage and conviction that defined his rule. Theirs was a bond forged in the crucible of countless conflicts, a testament to the unbreakable connection between man and beast. When the great war herd of Minotaurs threatened to spill over the Grey Mountains into Athelloren, Emperor Karl Franz faced a daunting decision. With the river Weiss swelled to bursting by the spell weavers of Ariel, the Minotaurs seemed unstoppable. Desperate times called for desperate measures, and Karl Franz made a choice that none of his predecessors had dared. He sought aid from the enigmatic Wood Elves. Despite initial reluctance from the Council of Athelloren, the logic of Karl Franz's plea could not be denied. Orion, the Wild Hunter himself, led the charge to the Empire's aid. While Karl Franz marshalled the forces of Wissenland, Orion and his followers struck at the flanks of the warherd with unmatched ferocity. In the heart of battle, as Minotaurs felt disciplined gunfire and elven fury, Karl Franz himself led the charge. Yet, amidst the chaos, tragedy struck as the Emperor was cast from his horse by a devastating blow from a Cygor's boulder. From across the battlefield, Orion saw the Emperor's fall, but initially cared little for his fate. It was Naiath, the prophetess, who reminded Orion of the nobility of Karl Franz's course. With renewed purpose, Orion rallied his forces once more, charging towards the human lines and the fallen Emperor. As the Wood Elves unleashed their wrath upon the Minotaurs, Karl Franz lay unconscious, guarded by the king in the woods himself. Though Orion suffered grievous wounds in the ensuing battle, the Emperor emerged unscathed, saved by the Wood Elves' intervention. In a gesture of friendship tinged with warning, an emissary from Athelloren presented Karl Franz with a griffin egg, a symbol of gratitude and a reminder that the eyes of the Wood Elves would forever be upon the Empire. And so the bond between man and elf was forged in blood and battle, a testament to the unity that could be found in the face of diversity. As the dust settled and the echoes of war faded, Karl Franz knew that the debt owed to Athelloren would never be forgotten. After the tragic passing of Elector Maximilian von Königswald, Emperor Karl Franz extended a personal visit to the Königswald estate to offer his condolences to the late Elector's heir, young Oswald. Reflecting on Maximilian's pivotal role to his own ascension of power, Karl Franz spoke warmly of their relationship, acknowledging Maximilian's instrumental support during the initial vote that secured Karl Franz's position. During their conversation, the Emperor expressed a paternal fondness for Oswald, likening him to a son and offering to attend a play celebrating the victory over Constant Drachenfels, the great enchanter, alongside him. Embracing a moment of respite, Karl Franz immersed himself in the company of friends and family, relishing the joyous atmosphere. However, ominous signs began to intrude upon the tranquility, such as unsettling dreams of his son Leopold amidst levitating monks, warning him to stay away from Castle Drachenfels as mere fanciful notions. Despite these foreboding premonitions, Karl Franz attended the play with optimism, only to find himself ensnared in a sinister plot. As the events of the play unfolded with alarming realism, the Emperor grew uneasy and attempted to leave. Yet Oswald, driven by darker intentions, forced him to stay at knife point. The climax of the play brought not only the defeat of Drakenfels, but also a shocking betrayal. In a desperate bid to resurrect the great enchanter, Oswald revealed his true colours, slashing Karl Franz's throat before attempting to flee. However, his treachery was swiftly met with justice as he fell under the blades of those loyal to the Emperor. Though Carl Franz survived the brutal attack, his voice was reduced to a mere whisper for months afterwards, a haunting reminder of the peril he had faced. In the wake of the tragedy, the Königwalds faced severe repercussions, stripped of their title and replaced by the Fantassinigs. As winter gripped the land and Emperor Karl Franz returned from his sojourn in Talabheim, a sinister conspiracy unfolded in the very walls of the Imperial Palace. Crafted by the nefarious Skaven, aided by corrupted members of the Palace Guard and ensnared by the Slaneshi cult of the Jade Scepter, the plot aimed to replace the Emperor with a doppelganger puppet. Masterminded by the Tzeentchian champion known as Skullface, the plan spiraled into chaos when the Emperor was captured by the great seer Gaxar within the confines of his own palace. Only through the intervention of the Ostland warrior Conrad and the divine grace of Sigmar did Karl Franz escape a fate worse than death. As the corrupted palace guard turned on their liege Conrad, alongside the renegade wizard Litzenreich and the valiant knight Wolfgang von Neuwald, rallied to defend the Emperor. Despite his weakened state, Karl Franz found himself surrounded by steadfast allies who fought fiercely to ensure his survival. Escorted to safety by 2 Templars of Sigmar, the Emperor vowed to honour his rescuers, even as the shadows of uncertainty loomed over their fates. Though Karl Franz declared Conrad a hero and pardoned his past transgressions, neither he nor his companions could be located to receive the honours they had deserved. In the tumultuous year of 2512, Emperor Karl Franz's decisions sparked controversy and uncertainty throughout the empire, leading to a series of events that would test the very fabric of imperial stability. The annexation of Obersreich, orchestrated through an emergency decree that passed by the Reichland Diet, sent shockwaves across the noble houses. Sigismund von Jungfreud, stripped of his title and forced into exile, became the unfortunate victim of the emperor's response to escalating tensions between rival duchies. Yet beneath the surface lies a web of deceit spun by the chaos cultists of the Purple Hand, who manipulated Karl Franz's uncle, Emanuel Ferrand, to feed false intelligence to the emperor. As rumours of the Emperor's mysterious ailment spread, his authority came under scrutiny, and trust in his leadership waned. The emergence of a double to maintain appearances of strength only exacerbated the growing unrest. Karl Franz's decision to draft an edict against the persecution of mutants further fueled dissent, drawing ire of both the cult of Sigmar and numerous electors. Amidst the turmoil, the Sigmarian heresy reared its head once more, threatening to destabilize the northern provinces. In a desperate bid to quell the unrest, the Council of State and the Grand Theogenes orchestrated a public union through the marriage of Crown Prince Wolfgang von Holschwig-Abenauer to Katharina Todbringer of Middenheim. Yet the wedding was marred by chaos as an attempted assassination plunged the empire into further disarray. With Karl Franz's absence due to illness during the electoral conclave, the destruction of a false Galmaras shattered the illusion of imperial unity, leaving a power vacuum in its wake. As demonic hordes unleashed havoc upon the empire, a group of heroes embarked on a perilous quest to retrieve the true hammer from the depth of Blackfire Pass. With great sacrifices, the demon was vanquished, and Karl Franz emerged from the shadows of sickness to reunite the fractured empire. In a historic electoral conference, sweeping reforms were enacted, reshaping the political landscape and rewarding those who had remained loyal. But even amidst these celebrations of victory, dark revelations surfaced. sparking conflicts and alliances that would shape the Empire's future. As the dust settled, Karl Franz stood poised to lead his realm into a new era, his resolve unwavering in the face of adversity, his vision clear as he sought to forge a path of unity and strength for the Empire of Man. The Third Battle of Blackfire Pass stands etched in the annals of history as a testament to the resilience and the valor of the Empire against the relentless tide of greenscreen aggression. In the year 2519, the Emperor Karl Franz, heeding the warning of Marius Leitdorf, personally led the Imperial forces to confront the looming threat pouring forth from the treacherous pass. As the clash of steel and thunder of cannons reverberated through the valley, the Imperial army, bolstered by their leader's unwavering resolve, stood firm against the onslaught of greenskin warriors. Amidst the chaos of battle, Karl Franz mounted upon his noble griffin Deathclaw, facing the hulking giant in a titanic struggle, albeit at the cost of his loyal mount's injury. Despite the ferocity of the greenskin assault, the Imperial line held, until the unexpected appearance of greenskin cavalry under warlord Vorad Ironjaw threatened to shatter their ranks. Caught off guard, the left flank crumbled under the savage onslaught, plunging the battlefield into disarray. In the heart of the fray, Marius Leitdorf, renowned for his courage, stood defiant alongside a small band of greatswords, facing down the monstrous warlord Vorad himself. In a clash of titans, Marius valiantly bested the warlord, but at the cost of his own life, leaving the Empire to mourn the loss of a noble hero. With the Empire's fate hanging in the balance, Karl Franz, determined to avert disaster, rallied his remaining forces for one final desperate charge. Leading his Reichsguard knights, the Emperor plunged headlong into the fray, facing warlord Vorad in a duel that would decide the battle's outcome. As the two leaders clashed, the fate of the Empire hung in the balance. Karl Franz, pushed to the brink of defeat, found within himself a surge of unearthly strength, as if guided by the divine spirit of Sigmar himself. Transforming into a towering barbarian king, Karl Franz unleashed a thunderous blow that shattered the warlord's resolve, sending fear coursing through the greenscreen ranks. In a moment of clarity, warlord Vorad recognized the echoes of history, the indomitable spirit of the Unberorgens, and the inevitability of his defeat. With a final, futile gesture, he felt the mighty Emperor's hammer, sealing the greenskin horde's doom and securing Karl Franz's legacy as a true champion of the Empire. As the dust settled and the sun set over the blood-soaked battlefield, tales of Karl Franz's heroic duel reverberated throughout the Empire, inspiring pride and reverence for many generations to come. And though time may embellish the details, the essence of that fateful day remains etched in the collective memory of the Empire, a testament to the enduring spirit of Sigmar's chosen. Emperor Karl Franz, ever mindful of the importance of alliances, has diligently sought to foster strong relations with the dwarf High King Thorgrim Grudgebearer. In a gesture of goodwill and respect, Karl Franz once presented the esteemed dwarf ruler with the precious notebooks of Leonardo di Miragliano, a renowned artist and engineer of humanity. However, the response from High King Thorgrim Grudgebearer was not what Karl Franz had anticipated. Instead of recognizing the value of the gifted notebooks, Grudgebearer dismissed them as the mere drawings by human children. This unexpected reaction left Karl Franz puzzled, unsure whether his gesture of goodwill had been misunderstood or if Grudgebearer simply did not appreciate the artistic and engineering prowess of de Miragliano. Despite this setback, Karl Franz has remained steadfast in his efforts to strengthen the bond between the Empire and the dwarves, recognizing the strategic importance of a unified front against common threats. Whether through diplomatic overtures or strategic alliances, Karl Franz continues to navigate the delicate balance of maintaining relations with the proud dwarf kingdom, ever hopeful of securing their enduring friendship and support. In the harrowing climax of the end times, Emperor Karl Franz demonstrated unparalleled courage and selflessness as he faced the monstrous hordes of Nurgle during the siege of Altdorf. Despite the overwhelming odds and the ferocity of his foes, Karl Franz refused to yield, determined to protect his people and homeland at any cost. As the battle raged on, Karl Franz found himself confronted by the formidable Glotkin brothers, Otto and Gurk, in a desperate struggle for survival. With Deathclaw, his faithful griffin, held at bay and his bodyguard Helborg valiantly fighting by his side, Karl Franz stood firm against the relentless onslaught. In a final fateful moment, Otto Glot's blade struck true, severing Karl Franz's arm and piercing his chest. As the Emperor fell to the ground, mortally wounded, he called upon the divine aid of his god Sigmar for one last time. In a stunning turn of events, the twin-tailed comet that had loomed ominously overhead crashed down upon Karl Franz's lifeless body, unleashing a blinding aura of light that purged the city of Altdorf of its unholy corruption. From the radiant glow emerged Sigmar himself, wielding his legendary warhammer with righteous fury. With a mighty swing, Sigmar banished the Glotkin brothers back to the realm of chaos, ensuring the salvation of the Empire and its people. Karl Franz's sacrifice, coupled with the divine intervention of Sigmar, marked the turning point in the end times, heralding the dawn of a new era and inspiring hope in the hearts of all who witnessed the miraculous events that unfolded that day. Though the Emperor had fallen, his legacy endured, and his unwavering devotion to his people would be remembered for generations to come. In the alternate timeline of the Storm of Chaos, Emperor Karl Franz faced one of the greatest threats to the Empire's existence as the renegade former Templar and 13th ever-chosen Archaon led a vast chaos host against the realms of men. With the Empire divided and beset by dark omens, Karl Franz called upon the Elector Counts, the patriarchs of the colleges of magic, ambassadors from Marienburg, and dwarfs from Karazanko to convene in Mitterfrühl to address the impending crisis. Amidst differing opinions on how to confront the Chaos Horde, Karl Franz remained silent, prompting tensions and accusations among the gathered leaders. As the threat grew more dire with reports of Chaos armies massing in the north, Karl Franz's hesitation led some to question his leadership. However, the arrival of Teclis of Ulthuan and his promise of aid bolstered the Emperor's resolve to take action. In a decisive move, Karl Franz dispatched forces to patrol the Sea of Claws and defend the mountain passes with the aid of allies, while marshalling the Empire's armies to meet the Chaos Horde in battle. Despite internal strife and challenges to his authority, Karl Franz remained steadfast in his commitment to defend the Empire and its people against the forces of darkness. The arrival of Lothar Huss and Walten, declared as Sigmar Reborn, further complicated matters, leading to a delicate balance between religious beliefs and political stability. To prevent civil war and religious schisms, Karl Franz made a crucial decision to acknowledge Walten as Sigmar's chosen, and offered him Galmaraz, while affirming his own position as Emperor. Together with Walten, Karl Franz led the forces of the Reichland to confront Archaon's army, culminating in the decisive Battle of Sock. Despite the victory over Archaon, the aftermath brought further turmoil as religious strife erupted and suspicions arose surrounding Walten's death. As disputes over succession and religious authority threatened to tear the Empire apart, Karl Franz sought to maintain unity by convening a private council with key figures. However, the revelation of Walten's mysterious death only deepened the divisions within the Empire, casting a shadow over the future of Karl Franz's reign. In another alternate timeline, that of Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning, Emperor Karl Franz faced a dire situation as a chaos-infused plague ravaged the Empire, transforming its victims into ravening mutants. Despite the Emperor's efforts to issue quarantine orders, the disease had already spread extensively, plunging the Empire into chaos and disorder. Militiamen struggled to combat the mutant hordes within plague-racked cities, leaving the walls undefended against external threats, while gangs of brigands terrorized the countryside. Amidst this turmoil, darker forces conspired to further weaken the Empire. The champion of the siege, Tcharneksanek, led his raven host in terrorizing the cities, while the Witch King of Nagaroth orchestrated assaults on the dwarf realms to force the Empire into seeking aid from their allies. Recognizing the imminent threats, Karl Franz honored the ancient pact with the dwarfs and dispatched troops to support them, even as Nordland and Ostland became under assault. To unite against their common enemies, the leaders of the Empire, the dwarfs and the High Elves, convened a great council of wisdom in Altdorf. Here they forged a pact to fight as one and strike back against the invaders threatening their lands. In response to the escalating threats, Emperor Karl Franz founded the Order of the Griffin, a formidable military force comprised of skilled soldiers, wizards, and followers of Sigmar's cult, tasked with confronting the gravest dangers facing the Empire. Emperor Karl Franz I's legacy as a statesman and patron of the arts and sciences, a military innovator and valiant warrior, is unparalleled in the annals of the Old World. His reign ushered in an era of prosperity and progress for the Empire, marked by advancements in technology, magic, and governance. Karl Franz's astute political acumen was demonstrated in his deft handling of various crises and conflicts within the Empire. When faced with a potentially devastating civil war between Stirland and Talabecland, the Emperor chose diplomacy over division, personally intervening to negotiate peace terms that averted bloodshed and maintained stability within the realm. His ability to navigate the intricate web of imperial politics, coupled with the imposing presence of champions like Ludwig Schwarzhelm, commanded respect and cooperation from the Elector Counts, ensuring the Empire's unity and strength. Moreover, Karl Franz's strategic foresight and cunning tactics allowed him to outmaneuver rivals and adversaries. He adeptly utilized political leverage, such as in the signing of the Convention of the Stink Act, where he compelled the merchant guilds of Altdorf to acquiesce to unfavorable terms by exploiting their desire to undermine their competitors. Similarly, when faced with the territorial ambitions of Theodoric Gauser, Karl Franz employed the services of the Supreme Patriarch Balthasar Gelt, whose magical prowess thwarted the Elector Count's ambitions through clever manipulation of resources. Throughout his reign, Emperor Karl Franz's leadership exemplified wisdom, courage, and integrity, earning him the admiration and loyalty of his subject. His enduring motto, "Truth will prevail," encapsulates his commitment to justice and righteousness, guiding the Empire through times of turmoil and ensuring its continued prosperity and stability. Emperor Karl Franz's prowess on the battlefield is matched only by his diplomatic finesse and strategic brilliance. Armed with some of the most potent magical weapons and armor in the Old World, he commands respect both as a ruler and a warrior. At the forefront of his arsenal is the legendary Galmaraz, the warhammer of Sigmar himself, a symbol of divine authority and a weapon of unparalleled power. With Galmaraz in hand, Karl Franz strikes fear into the hearts of his enemies and inspires unwavering loyalty among his allies. In addition to his formidable warhammer, Karl Franz is equipped with intricately crafted armor, enchanted to withstand the fiercest of blows and protect him from harm on the battlefield. This armor, passed down through generations of emperors, is a testament to the Empire's resilience and strength. Mounted atop his loyal griffin Deathclaw, Karl Franz leads his forces with unmatched valor and determination. From the skies he surveys the battlefield with keen eyes, directing troops and engaging enemy forces with deadly precision. His mastery of aerial combat and strategic maneuvering makes him a formidable opponent in any conflict. But Carl Franz's true strength lies not in his martial prowess, but also in his ability to unite the disparate factions of the Empire and rally them against a common threat. His diplomatic skills and statesmanship has kept the Empire strong and united, even in the face of the gravest of challenges. Whether leading armies into battle or negotiating peace treaties at the highest levels of diplomacy, Emperor Karl Franz is a figure of unparalleled significance in the Old World, and a beacon of hope and strength for all who call the Empire their home. His early years were marked by a brush with danger and a mysterious encounter with the Wood Elves, and that set his stage for his future as a leader. Born into the prestigious house Holsteig-Schlesstein as the only son of Emperor Leopold and his wife, he narrowly escaped the beastman attack as a babe while travelling through the dark-walled forest. This incident, in which the Imperial family was saved by the Wood Elves, left a lasting impression on young Carl Franz, as one of the elves cryptically referred to him as Harathui Goiran, signifying his importance. Raised in the bustling capital of Altdorf, Carl Franz grew up under the watchful eye of his father, Emperor Leopold I, and was groomed to inherit the throne of Reichland and the Empire. However, his youth was marked by a rebellious streak, frequenting taverns and gambling dens instead of attending the Temple of Sigmar as expected of a noble heir. Despite his wayward behaviour, Carl Franz's demeanour underwent a significant change following his marriage and the birth of his son, named in honour of his grandfather, Emperor Leopold. Under the tutelage of the renowned Emperor's Justice, Ludwig Schwarzhelm, Carl Franz received training in combat and martial skills. Despite this, his martial prowess remained unproven by the time he reached the age of 32. However, with his sense of responsibility deepening as he matured, Carl Franz began to demonstrate a newfound dedication to his duties and a growing sense of leadership. Though his early years may have been marked by youthful indiscretions and uncertainty, Carl Franz's experience shaped him into a man destined for greatness, poised to lead the Empire through the challenges and trials that lay ahead. Carl Franz found himself thrust into a position of immense responsibility upon the death of his father. As the new head of House Holsteig-Schlesstein, he inherited the titles of Prince of Altdorf and Elector Count of Reichland, along with the legendary Reichland Rootfang, Dragon's Tooth. However, his ascension to the Imperial throne was not guaranteed, as it depended on the votes of the 15 electors who held the power to choose the next emperor. Despite his own reservations and his belief that he was still too young and unproven for such a significant role, Carl Franz found himself thrust into the political arena. At the gathering of the elector counts in Altdorf, he faced stiff competition from Boris Todbringer, the battle-hardened elector count of Middelland. The first round of voting saw Franz receive 4 votes, but Todbringer fell short of the required majority. As tensions simmered and alliances were formed, Carl Franz found himself embroiled in both political manoeuvring and physical combat. When a confrontation with Todbringer threatened to escalate, it was diffused by Maximilian von Königswald, an old ally of Karl's father. However, their respite was short-lived as they faced an ambush from forest goblins while patrolling the surrounding forest. In the middle of battle, Carl Franz demonstrated his courage and leadership, rallying his troops and personally confronting the forest goblin Charman and its monstrous mount. It was during this encounter that he was saved from an assassin's blade by the intervention of the enigmatic Green Knight, a spirit from Bretonnia. Summoned by the Lady of the Lake, the Green Knight delivered a cryptic message to Carl Franz, warning of a looming threat known as the Three-Eyed King, that could only be defeated if the Empire and Bretonnia set aside their differences and united against it. Despite his initial reluctance to pursue the imperial throne, Carl Franz was forced to confront the reality of the challenges facing the Empire. Upon returning to Altdorf, Carl Franz deliberated over his next course of action with his trusted advisor Kurt Helborg. Despite his reservations, Helborg urged him to embrace his destiny and rise to the challenge, arguing that the Empire needed his leadership and statesmanship in the face of looming threats. Thus, Carl Franz found himself at a crossroads, torn between his desire for a peaceful life and the call of duty to lead the Empire through troubled times. His decision would not shape only his own life, but that of the entire Old World. As Carl Franz prepared to meet with King Louis Leoncoeur of Britannia, he left Kurt Helborg behind in Altdorf to maintain order among the Elector Counts. Accompanied by Maximilian von Königswald, Karl made his way to Helmgard, where he found the Britannian king encamped nearby with his retinue. In a private meeting with King Lewin, Karl learnt of the Britannian king's vision of prophecy granted to him by the Lady of the Lake. Lewin explained that he foresaw a future where chaos reigned supreme over the Old World, and he believed that the Empire needed a strong leader like Carl Franz to stand against this threat. Despite Karl's initial reluctance to embrace the responsibilities of governance, Lewin emphasized the importance of their roles as leaders in the safeguarding of the futures of humanity. Their discussion was abruptly interrupted by an attack from orcs belonging to the Necksnapper tribe. Karl and Lewin fought side by side, demonstrating their prowess in battle and successfully repelling the greenskin assault. After the skirmish, Lewin urged Karl to return to Altdorf and pursue the Imperial throne, not for personal ambition, but for the greater good of the Old World. With his newfound clarity and sense of purpose, Carl Franz departed from Britannia, determined to fulfill his destiny and lead the Empire against the encroaching darkness of chaos. As he returned to Altdorf, he carried with him the weight of responsibility and the knowledge that his actions would shape the fate of nations. As Carl Franz sought to secure the votes of the electors in his bid for the Imperial throne, he faced various challenges and intrigues. Despite initial setbacks with the Grand Theogonist Volkmar the Grim, who doubted Franz's piety and expelled him from the Temple of Sigmar, Franz remained determined to pursue his goal through cunning and negotiation. First, Franz arranged a meeting with Marius Leitdorf, the eccentric Elector Count of Averland, and Hismus Stoutheart, the halfling elder of the Moot. While Leitdorf initially seemed resistant to supporting Franz, the Prince of Altdorf ultimately convinced him by promising to implement a trade policy that would benefit both Averland and the Moot. Despite Leitdorf's aggressive tendencies, Franz recognized the importance of gaining the electors' trust rather than ruling through fear. Next, Franz met with Alberich Haupt Andersen, the Elector Count of Stirland, who berated him for his father's perceived inaction in dealing with the undead threat from Sylvania. Franz reassured Haupt Andersen that he would address the Vampire Count's presence in Sylvania and offered to implement a trade tax that would benefit Stirland. With these assurances, Haupt Andersen pledged his vote to Franz. Franz then negotiated with Helmut Feuerbach, the Elector Count of Talbeckland, offering military support and trade opportunities in exchange for his vote. He also met with Wolfram Hertwig, the Elector Count of Ostermark, and secured his vote by offering advantageous terms for a trade tax. Finally, Franz met with Theodoric Gausser, the Elector Count of Nordland, and secured his vote by promising to expel Norse raiders from Nordland's coast. With the support of the majority of the electors secured, Franz felt confidence in his bid for the imperial throne. However, as he made his way to the voting chamber, Franz was ambushed by an Arabian assassin. He was saved by Volkmar the Grim, who recognized the mark of the Chaos God Singe on the assassin's neck. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Volkmar pledged his support to Franz, recognizing that his speech has shown that he was ready to lead the Empire in his darkest hour. With Volkmar's endorsement, Franz entered the Volkshalle, prepared to accept his destiny as Emperor. After being elected Emperor with overwhelming support from the electors, Karl Franz von Holstein ascended to the throne of the Empire. Despite initial doubts and challenges, even from potential rivals like Boris Todbringer, Franz's leadership qualities and visions for a united empire garnered widespread acceptance. In a symbolic gesture of strength and justice, Franz's first act as emperor was to expose and eliminate a Ascension imposter who had infiltrated the highest echelons of power. By swiftly dealing with this threat, Franz demonstrated his commitment to protecting the empire from the machinations of chaos. Following this decisive action, Emperor Franz wasted no time in addressing matters of governance and security. He appointed loyal and trusted individuals to key positions, such as Valmir von Rakau as the new elector Count of Ostland, ensuring stability and continuity in the administration of the empire. Despite his desire for a quiet life with his family, Franz understood the demands of his new role and embarked on a tour across the Reichland to connect with his subjects and assess the state of his realm. With determination and resolve, Emperor Karl Franz embraced the challenges ahead, prepared to lead the empire through times of turmoil and uncertainty. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, farewell.